You're listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of the Red Moon Podcast. The beer is spilling out all over the floor, the table. We got another great North Carolina raindrop. You could say it's a deluge just like the one outside in Louisville, Kentucky. Raindrop. We're live every single Tuesday night right here on all the social media platforms. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm trying to string this out as long as I can.
You're good.
I was wondering why? You don't have to string it out that long.
We're professionals. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
Vanilla Steam, and
Strung Out Long John.
Strung Out Long John. I dig it. I love it.
He's strung it out long.
And your
John.
name's not John.
Jimmy.
What? You're just
Klaus is still here.
saying random names.
Without the light, she has not stolen children's souls yet. This is good.
Good. That's what Gunther says. Good. It's funny because, Keith, you're the only person that while I'm doing an intro and 50 things at once, somebody would throw me a bone. You're the one guy who's known me long enough that you're like, no, I'm going to make this just confusing as hell.
I'm gonna make this as difficult as possible.
Oh my gosh.
He's got it almost cleaned up over there.
I'm gonna try. Here we go.
It's all gone.
Just
like,
yeah. Oh, shoot. Maybe I need some paper towels.
yeah, his exploded good.
Did it? For
Oh,
real?
it's still going, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's sucking it.
Hey, he had the paper towels ready.
Suck that beer.
I can't get a good shot
I
of that.
had to do a little bit of a chug.
You almost like shotgun that thing.
Yeah, half
I
my
mean,
beer
it
is
kept. It's
gone.
Might
still.
as well.
It's actually still going,
Dude, I don't know why. These things have been like just sitting in the fridge. All right, hold on.
'cause
Give me a paper towel.
It's because they're past their date.
Is it good though?
It is good.
It is good.
It is.
I mean,
good.
it's flat now, but it's good.
Well, all the head is
Here, you want
completely
that?
removed. Yeah, hold
It
on,
held
hold on,
mine
I'll take
pretty
it.
well.
I'll take it. Okay,
Look at that.
hold on.
Look at
Let me
that.
cut back to the wide shot so I can open mine. And
I got froth in my.
I've got all the
mustache.
electronics. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Don't.
That's the only issue.
Yeah.
So I'm about to shotgun this too.
Yeah. Have fun.
I have beer on my iPhone.
Hold on, I'm
There
gonna
goes.
slowly.
Oh, I did it slow, and that's it doesn't help. Got it. Yeah.
Sounds
See,
like
look at
somebody
him.
farting.
You got the fizz in there.
Oh
Gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Ah,
that's a mess.
you know. The worst part is because it's just
Yeah,
foaming
you
through
keep
the.
opening it.
Yeah.
It just keeps
And
going.
until you get it fully open, though, all you're really doing is sucking head. It sucks. I'm just saying. Look at that.
He just
Look at it.
spit beer
Dude, I got
everywhere.
beer everywhere. Look at that. You can't cut to me. I was going to show you. I know.
No, he can't do nothing right now.
Shotgun this. You said sucking head.
That's all it was. There's no beer. It was all foam.
God.
Pure head.
Pure head.
Pure head.
Play them head games.
Oh, I got it.
It was a good pun. It was a good one.
It was
Well,
good.
I mean, Sean was the real victim there. He was the one that
double
opened it first.
Double entendre.
But I will say, like, because you prepped us by opening yours first.
yeah, it's like
It's
there's
like,
a
we
third
were all
left.
prepared.
All of it went everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, dude, yeah, it's all over the carpet. I got beer-soaked carpet.
This has probably been
I
one of our more
apologize.
entertaining openings.
I was not expecting
This
that.
ain't
at
even
all.
the 400th episode yet.
I know.
Whew, we got a banger coming.
Sucking head before the 400.
I was gonna say, wait till you see our bangers and mash.
That's right. Bangers and mash.
That's an
Oh,
inside
now
joke.
my
They don't know
hands all
that one.
sticky.
Everything, yeah.
If you're listening to audio only, you have no idea what's going on.
No.
Our audio only listeners are like,
This
oh
is
my
our,
gosh.
God, it's
Adult rated
like a
show.
porno.
Yeah.
He's got pornography.
This one's a little A little adult.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we're here to talk about movies.
Well, you know, this opening actually fits because our Christmas movie's a little bit more adult this week.
That's
so
true. That's
look at
true.
that.
We're just tying all things together as best
all
we can.
things together.
That's what this season's all about.
What was the last one that exploded like that?
Honestly, I don't know.
None of them I thought
can't
exploded
remember.
that bad.
No. That's
We've
the
had
first
a few
one.
that
yeah.
exploded, but that one was.
I was wondering if it was the same brand.
And it's funny because definitely the session IPAs, the light ones, obviously it doesn't seem like they have much. So those have been fine, but this is the first one. But man, it just overflowed.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. I guess we can finally. That was a good opening.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to our movies.
We're only
That was
5
right
minutes
up there.
in. I mean, you know.
Well, we're still discombobulated. We're gonna continue cleaning up and maybe I don't know. I'll get some hand sanitizer or something.
Everything.
I'm good. My hands aren't sticky.
Hey, none of the equipment is.
iPad and phone are sticky, and
Yeah, everything's working. Everything's good.
we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
I think there's some spit on the soundproofing back here. Okay.
Brandon, yeah, just.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't
You're
expecting
supposed
to suck
swallow,
head.
not spit.
Let's move into our movie review this week.
We only have one this week.
We only have one
yeah.
because it actually
Covers both
suffices
bases.
for our unconventional holiday film as well as a new release this week.
Yeah.
So perfect. Let's get into here's our review of Violent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is quiet. But not for long. This week's unconventional Christmas film is also a new release. That's right, from Universal and 87 North Productions, the company that brought us Nobody and Bullet Train, comes Violent Night, a Christmas film that has been marketed as Home Alone meets Die Hard. And while maybe not the most unconventional Christmas film we will review this year, it is a far cry from traditional Santa fare. Starring David Harbour as jolly old St. Nick and directed by Tommy Wirkola, responsible for cult favorite Norwegian film Dead Snow, Violent Night isn't the first R-rated Christmas film to put a darker and more adult spin on Christmas. It is one of the very few that does it right, however. When the wealthy and less than scrupulous Lightstone family estate comes under attack by a group of mercenaries, led by a man calling himself Mr. Scrooge, played by John Leguizamo, Santa, who happens to be delivering presents, finds himself trapped on the estate as well. As Mr. Scrooge takes the Lightstones hostage in an attempt to steal $300 million from the estate's vault, the pleas of Trudy Lightstone, a young girl who still believes in Santa, reaches the not-so-jolly old elf just as he himself begins to lose hope in humanity. Renewed with purpose, Santa sets out to deliver season's beatings and save Christmas. Violent Night never sells itself as more than a fun action comedy. But actually, it is smarter than even its marketing leads one to believe. While it's nothing profound and is essentially a fun popcorn flick, Violent Night isn't just mindless violence. With clever writing and banter, the film has wit, tackling Christmas cliches and poking fun at many holiday classics. Home Alone and Die Hard already highlighted in the trailers, but plenty more nods to other films are present within the movie. Harbour as a cynical Santa who still has a heart against Leguizamo's faithless mercenary who hates Christmas creates a hilarious dynamic on screen, with both offering standout moments of action and comedy throughout the film. Where the movie is weakest is in the emotional moments, though it does do right by these moments enough for us to care about the characters, or at least that of Santa and Trudy, whose bond and growing relationship becomes the crux of the film's heart. While there are sweet moments that remind us this is indeed a Christmas film, they are mostly used as juxtaposition against the brutality on film. While this works perfectly and makes the movie not just entertaining but clever, we never get anything too profound or deep. And while the movie's goal is never anything too serious, a little more focus on Trudy's relationship with Santa and her parents could have made the film that much more rewarding. As is, Violent Night is a fun, though very adult, Christmas movie. It is not for the squeamish and will be a turnoff for those who disapprove of taking something innocent and twisting it into something darker. That said, Violent Night is a well-crafted action comedy and never feels like the gimmick that many similar films have been in the past. With stellar fight scenes, a hilarious script, and some genuine moments of Christmas spirit, Violent Night is the R-rated Christmas film worth watching, as long as you don't mind your Christmas being a little blood-soaked. I give Violent Night 3 out of 4 stars.
3 out of 4 stars. So we got to get rid of that beer. The head was just so massive.
It was very foamy. Very foamy.
Oh, all right. 3 out of 4 stars for Violent Night. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's dive into it.
It was violent, and it was a night.
That's
It
true.
was violent.
That is very true.
The paper towels are falling over.
I think a lot of people, I don't know. I mean, if they've seen our show before, I don't think it's any surprise that we like this movie as much as we did. I think some people probably roll their eyes. It's unconventional. It's obviously, why do you take something so innocent and pure as Santa and turn it into... Look, I can somewhat relate and understand that perspective. However, the movie's rated R. It is not meant for kids.
No.
It is very much an adult movie, and I don't know why you would even be worried that your kid would possibly see this and want to go check it out in the theater. To me, it's like very clearly pointed at one specific direction of audience, and I don't know. I enjoyed it for the fun
I found it very
zaniness that
entertaining.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did. I enjoyed it. It is because it's funny. In the trailers, they advertise it as Home Alone meets Die Hard, and it is very much that. But I feel like it's more than that as well. That's definitely a good way, I think, to get people into the seats. But it does. It has nods to a lot of just Christmas tropes and movies. And it does them very well. It's smart. It's not just, constant, you over there sucking more head.
He's
already giggling.
I'm giggling because I'm like, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, I know.
It completely caught me off guard.
Within context, it was very literal. It was head.
Yeah. No, it was. You were well within the right. But I'm just saying, it caught me off guard.
Hopefully nobody gets any text from their parents tonight.
No.
Like, hey, that wasn't very tasteful.
I think they'll understand it was completely innocent.
I hope so.
It was as innocent as this movie.
Yeah.
No, and actually, I think what surprised me most about the movie, I mean, I expected it to be a fun popcorn flick. I mean, that's how it's advertised. It doesn't take itself too seriously. But it was smarter than I thought it would be. It actually, while I think it could have had more emotion, it still had the amount of emotion that it needed to be a solid story. And the writing and acting actually, from everyone involved, especially David Harbour and John Leguizamo, both of them I thought were excellent. Like his cynicism and Leguizamo's whole bent against Christmas. Like they both, I thought, did better than those actors have done in other things. So I was just impressed all around that the movie I just thought was better done and more well thought out and produced than the typical that style of film would be.
Yeah, I was really surprised by the film. I kind of went in with low expectations, thinking that this was just going to be. The movie was exactly what it was supposed to be. Yeah. And I think that's why I actually gave it 3.5.
Okay.
So I loved it.
Holy crap.
It was fun. It's a good movie.
It will probably become one of the Christmas movies that I watch every year.
Every
it'll
year?
It'll be like after the kids and the wife are in bed, that's a Christmas movie I'll watch.
Violent Night.
Until now, it was Bad Santa. I would absolutely watch Bad Santa once a year.
A perfect example, though, and I know it doesn't deal with the actual, I guess, supernatural being that is Santa Claus.
Right.
But Bad Santa is not a wholesome movie.
No.
At all.
By any means.
And it's like, for me, I'm just like, how, and even last year, I think it was last year or the year before, when we did it was horror genre. Whether Krampus, whether Ginger
Santa
Dead Man,
Slays.
Santa Sleigh.
Yeah.
I even said coming out of the theater, I said, this reminded me of a better version
Of Santa
more
Sleigh,
well
yeah.
written than Santa Sleigh. And truth be told, I'm like, obviously it's just better production value, better acting, better story. But it's like, it's not that we haven't seen these takes on this genre, but I can understand from a wide mass appeal, this is the first kind of A-list type of movie. And it's funny because even by those standards, it's still very much indie. It's not like this was a massive budget in this film.
Yeah.
But with someone like David Harbour tied to it, who's gotten a cult following and a bigger stardom because of Stranger Things, I definitely understand why this is being kind of pushed as more of a first mass appeal or pushed out into the masses, such as this kind of take on this Santa figure from a more violent perspective.
Yeah.
But even still, to its credit, it doesn't just become mindless fun. It is actually a decent story. Santa down on his luck, not really feeling the spirit anymore, and kind of coming back.
He's lost faith in people and humanity, and who can blame him? Look at the world today. We're awful.
And I was to say, of all the tongue-in-cheek things that happen in this film, with regards to just surrounding the Christmas holiday, you then come to even some of the very criticisms of how greedy people have become, and also the commercialization of Christmas and what it represents, or how it's completely gone awry, and it's like people just don't think of this holiday as something, putting them again. If you go to Christmas or a church service on Christmas Eve, or any kind of generic Christmas service, it's going to typically be put the Christ back in Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think as an American culture, it's something we do have to be reminded of more often. This movie does not do that.
No.
But I was appreciative of the fact that it doesn't knock Christmas. It could have very easily taken this fictional, mythological story,
more cynical,
exactly, and been way more cynical of the actual Christmas holiday, the religious views of Christmas, and it could have easily taken that toll. Some still may argue, because it doesn't have anything to do with Christ and the actual Christmas story, that it's already doing that by virtue of just existing alone, and that's a fair criticism. I'm not going to knock that criticism, but if you're looking for a fun romp where you already are very firm in your faith and understanding of where Christmas lies and what the true meaning of Christmas is, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with watching a film like this and just, again, not with the kiddos in the room, but just having a good time.
No, it's, it was, I think one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much is I'm a huge fan of Kill Bill, and I really felt like the movie had some of those vibes with it. It was a great. I don't really know what it was. I liked everything about it. I couldn't really find a whole lot of gripes, other than maybe I kept on the way home from watching the movie. I kept replaying some of the scenes in my head, and I'm like, I think it would have been funnier if this would have happened. I'm not the film. I'm not writing it. I'm not directing this film. What they gave me was enjoyable enough. And it was like I could think of better ways they could have done it, but what they did was so enjoyable that I just don't have anything bad to say about the movie. I literally would have given it 4 stars, but it's
gosh,
like I loved the movie.
You didn't think it edged out?
I just think it was. It's not a Lord of the Rings. It's not an Academy Award worthy film or anything like that.
But you just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really did. I thought, especially, I've never seen a movie with John Leguizamo where I've actually enjoyed his acting.
I don't care for him either.
Oreo Brothers?
He is.
No, that one's amazing.
Yeah, but that's
for all the wrong
reasons, right? And most of the other movies that he's in are. His role is amazing for all the wrong. Spawn, absolutely terrible.
I'm just saying. Whoa! Tu Wong Fu,
Pest,
terrible.
Tu Wong Fu,
Come on,
maybe
give him that one.
I'll give him that.
Him
one.
and Wesley Snipes.
I'll give him
Patrick Swayze as women.
I'll give him.
I'll give him Moulin Rouge. I'll give him that one. He was not totally annoying in that.
No, true. The sitar player, he was fantastic.
I'll give him that one.
He played the stereotypical bad guy in this movie, and even every line that he says,
he knew,
was just stereotype of every 90s action movie.
But perfect,
Yes,
the way
and I thought that's exactly what they were going for, and you're right, it did.
Santa Claus. He knew exactly how to deliver it.
It did. It mixed Die Hard with Home Alone, and it's. But I would even argue, like you said, the film doesn't play into at all the actual meaning of Christmas. But I mean, I'd also argue that probably 90% of the Christmas movies we watch don't. Home Alone doesn't.
Exactly. No, Home Alone does. Home Alone does.
Because he goes to a church?
Well, there's a crucial scene where he's at the... that's more than any movie today would do.
I agree.
And I think it was their way of appeasing, yes, maybe Christian-centered folks back then, because I think, generally speaking, on a large public, that was definitely much more a message back then that fit in the mainstream that people wanted to make sure that they got out there. Because, again, you had, I think, more vocal, and rightfully so, religious people stepping up and saying, hey, don't take Christ out of Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you look at all the Hallmark movies that are advertised every year of Home for the Holidays, Under the Mistletoe, anything you can think of that's romance and Christmas, and I'm just so sick and tired of my day job, and I go home for Christmas break to see the famine. There's just this hunk at a bar that I happen to stumble into. I'm gonna spend the holidays with him, and I'm married.
Dad.
Exactly. Sobs
always
every single damn Christmas holiday flick on Hallmark that all the women love.
Yeah,
and they won't sit there and complain one bit about you need to put. So look, they can have that. They can have that film, and we've got our violent Santa Claus.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
It's a man movie, all right?
I mean, I would argue some of the better,
the perfect Christmas.
Yeah,
movie.
it's true. Some of the better Christmas movies lack the actual meaning of Christmas. I
Some
mean,
of them, Elf doesn't, but I mean, Elf still has good values.
No,
Right.
yes,
Yeah. Right.
And I would argue that this movie actually did touch on some of those morals and values. It just did it in a very violent way.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it does get into the weeds of
I
how
would-
greedy things have become, and it needs to change. And belief is what a lot of this stuff
I
is
would
driven
agree
by.
with that. I feel like even though the movie is violent, it is adult. It wasn't like this twisted, like cynical take on Christmas, trying to be like, oh, see, this is why Christmas is actually not good. It didn't do that. It was adult, but it's still held by what the more commercial, traditional idea of Christmas with Santa and things are. And I can respect it for not trying to be like, oh, well, see, this is why Christmas really isn't a good thing at all.
No, I really enjoyed the fact that it pushed towards it really centered around the innocence of children and his love for children. I know it might sound kind of
And this
weird,
sounds creepy
but
in
I'm
this
just
day and
saying,
age.
like there are
Santa's not
moments,
a minor attracted
no,
person.
There are
doesn't snuff the
moments though
children.
in the film where his demeanor and his attitude and everything changes when the little girl talks to him, and when he starts talking to her on the radio for the first time, you can really tell that his entire motivation is the love of children.
Well, I was going to say, I think
and
that's
joy and all that, and I felt like the movie does a good job. What is society doing today,
Right.
other than taking away the innocence of children? Like
No, absolutely.
And this movie kind of brings it back.
the children. He loves the children.
Gunther has a different perspective.
True.
That's right. Who knows what he...
Them too much.
But no, Sean, I, to that point, I would absolutely agree. I mean, if anything, I actually like the kind of twist that it does in the sense that it makes the children, specifically the child in this movie, Trudy, her belief so paramount to the reason why, Santa gets his spirit back. You don't really see that take in certain Christmas movies. And I thought that was actually a very clever way of twisting it on terms of you see him, dumping the milk out in exchange for some hard liquor. Yeah. And it's like, here's Santa eating his cookies and drinking his hard liquor and, just laying back in the sleigh like, oh, let's get this over with.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of I could see why people would be turned off by that, but I would also be like, well, but the whole gist of the whole crux of why he's turned off by it is because he just feels like this is needless because the kids, when he checks the Christmas list and it's cash, video game. And it's like
gift card.
The whole point of it being so commercialized to the point where he's thinking, all right, kids just don't even care anymore. There is no heart or soul
It's all
in
about
true
greed,
belief.
yeah.
It's all about gimme. And again, that's very much the central aspect of certain movies like Elf. But almost always Santa comes to provide that belief.
Yeah.
And you could use that as a Christ-like type of figure in those films. I think it's still a stretch. Whereas this one just kind of totally throws this out the window and it was like, okay, no. We're going to go turn this a 180. And again, we're going to tell a just ridiculous story on its face about Santa saving Christmas, but only because of this one kid who does believe in him.
Little girl saves him.
Exactly.
She actually saves Christmas.
Right.
And I enjoyed I love the fact that, it's her that inspires him and that he isn't this you mentioned like people like kind of comparing like Santa in some movies as a Christ-like figure, but he's not this all-powerful figure. He can't just go through and
I love that
just snap
too.
his fingers and save the day. I love the fact that they kind of take away everything
it's
that
magic
could help him.
that he doesn't know how it works.
He constantly says
even
on
the magic
several
he does
occasions.
have, they take away from him at the very beginning. His I don't want to spoil anything, but he kind of gets stranded where he doesn't have access to anything.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see that he does care and he is ingenuitive and he's able to do.
You've always seen in other films with Santa because no, there's not some clear definition of what Santa's powers are, or even I would say you don't really like. There's always been the whole like, oh, hey, if you don't have a chimney, he can definitely make it in because he slips under the door, or oh, the chimney's always going to be wide enough for him to fit down. Like there's always these mythological things that have come up to surpass that, where a kid's going to find like a stumbling block of, wait, how does this work? This isn't real. And it's funny because we've always worked out those, but in terms of the magicalness of Santa, in other movies, they've always taken liberties with that. Yeah. I think in this one, this is the first movie where I saw them cut back on those liberties taken. And again, him constantly saying throughout the film, I don't know how it works. It just does. And him kind of knowing the limit to which his powers, are at hand. And I don't know. That's genuinely something different and fresh for a tried and true Christmas flick that you're not going to get.
Yeah,
every
even
year.
his background is a completely new concept when it comes to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like him being, I don't want to give it away again, but him being, 1,100 years he's been doing this, and it's, he's a warrior kind of Santa Claus. I thought that's great. He's not just some guy that decided I want to give presents and leave little bags at people's doors and all this stuff. Like there's all kinds of different origin stories.
Right.
But this one was, I've never heard of this one before.
Well,
but I
here's
like
the thing.
it.
And for all the naysayers that may say, but Saint Nicholas was a real person that Santa Claus is based on. Yes, there is the real story. And honestly,
what'd she say?
she said, well, those cookies don't eat themselves. Naysayers that may say Saint Nicholas. Whoa, that's
Siri's
scary.
going crazy.
Siri is.
She wants you to eat some cookies.
She's turning it.
Those cookies aren't going to eat themselves.
Now we know
Siri's
how.
trying to poison you with cookies.
We know how.
You open a beer and she's like, that head's not going to suck itself.
I don't even know what point I was making.
I'm sorry. Just don't try.
No, that was Siri totally ruined that.
She did.
I think what I was trying to say is that while people may have more disdain for the film simply because it doesn't tell, or it very much divides the audience in terms of what is truth versus, reality versus fiction. And I'm like, again, like you said, Sean, there's so many different folklore tales and different mythos about Santa Claus and the origins. And I think this is the one movie where I'm like, not only takes that different approach, but I would relate it or liken it to something like Inglourious Bastards, like Tarantino's flick. And I'm like, we know that's not how World War II ended.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it.
It should have ended.
Keith didn't know.
Man,
Yeah.
wait. Now the end of Hollywoodland, though. They got them people, right?
Yeah. They got those
Oh, not
peeps.
Hollywoodland.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Thank you.
That's
Hollywoodland
it. You
was
got
the
that.
one with Ben Affleck, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That movie was not good. It was okay,
But
it's
that's
not.
the thing. We
Definitely not
know
Once
with
Upon a
movies
Time.
like that liberties are taken for creative purposes and to tell an entertaining story. Nobody's going to come to you, I hope. I don't know. The way the world works today, literally the earth is flat or the sky is no longer blue, it's green. People could tell me that tomorrow and they could verify it as
hollow.
fact.
They're just speaking their truth, Brandon.
Exactly. And the truth is for everyone. Yep. The truth will set you free.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was an entertaining film. It's something fun. I don't know if I'd quite fall in line with I'd watch it every single year,
I'll watch
I
it again
will.
for sure.
but I'll definitely watch it again.
yeah.
I'll enjoy it
It's
again.
one of the funnest Christmas movies as an adult that I've seen. It's like Christmas Vacation. That's an adult movie too.
I love
True.
Christmas
Kids
Vacation.
shouldn't watch that movie.
Yep.
And that's another one. I watch it religiously
PG-13, yeah.
every year. Yeah, but when he's dropping F-bombs and
My
going
mom and dad
crazy,
still
like,
mute it with us in the room, and I'm like, we're
Yeah.
all adults
Right.
here.
Yeah.
I've watched
Yeah.
movies with them where they drop the F-bomb, and my mom's still like, Bobby.
and I think it's yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, I'm
Get that
32
remote.
years old.
Get that remote.
And he
I think
did.
it's great too that the mom from that movie from the National Lampoons is in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny. It's like they even grabbed people from classic Christmas movies and brought them into this one. I thought that was
I
great.
could not tell that was her.
I think part of that was
She-
the hair and makeup too, though, because I mean, she doesn't like. I've seen her.
She talks like she just smoked 60 packs of
Oh,
cigarettes.
I think that's part of her acting. Like she did a great job. She did
I
fantastic.
hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, somebody needs to take a look at her lungs because man, they are
Because
dark black.
granted, it would have been.
They are charred from all the smoke. She had a deep dark
Yeah, she
voice.
did. She
It
had
was
lumps
terrible.
of coal.
I
In
say
her
it would have been
lungs.
7 years ago, but she didn't look that bad in the reboot of Vacation. or
Vacation,
whatever.
yeah. She wasn't that bad.
Now, granted, that 7 years is a long time,
Right.
so maybe she
Well,
just
especially
you know,
for someone who had 1970s lipo.
That's true.
And Botox.
That's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. She doesn't look bad, but her lips are very stretched from where you could tell she's had the Botox.
She's had tons of
Yeah.
Botox. I don't know about lipo. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
She was never really fat. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's like, I don't know.
I think it's time for headlines.
It is. It's a good movie. Go check it out if you're an adult. If you're a kid,
If you're an adult,
sneak in and see it. Nobody will care.
16,
It's an old
16
one.
and over, maybe.
The old one, but it fit.
I don't know. I would still probably keep my kids from seeing it.
What?
Even if they were 16.
Violent Night.
I mean, look, I wasn't able to see
It's
rated
hard.
R until after 17. I turned 17.
Oh
I
yeah,
saw
my
rated
parents
R
were way
way
more
more.
lenient than that.
Yeah, my parents were. Well, I always watched them at Keith's house anyway.
And
Now-
they knew you were.
There were some
So
movies.
technically, they were letting you.
Again, ignorance is bliss. But I will say some movies like Gladiator, because it was just strictly violence. There wasn't language or nudity. Those were the hard lines they had. But yeah, certain movies they would not watch, and even still, like I said, they feel uncomfortable with me in the room when an F-bomb is dropped.
I feel
And part
uncomfortable
of
with my
me-
parents in the room. Like if I'm watching a movie and,
Exactly.
and there's a nude scene, I'm like it's
Yeah.
weird. I'm just saying.
They see you reaching over
That's
and
like-
grabbing a pillow. What is over?
That's like when me and Neil were watching Boogie Nights and Rick.
Oh,
Rick
that's
walking.
that's totally different. That is not a movie.
That is so uncomfortable.
But
It's
you,
like,
you gotta tell that
I'm
story.
just saying we're watching Boogie Nights and he just walks in the room and sits down and it's like I swear it's the scene where Julianne Moore is like it's
Oh
like sitting
yes,
with her.
you can do something on my
Yes.
chest. Yeah.
We're sitting here watching this movie and it's like
Yes.
halfway through the movie and Rick just comes, he sits
Comes
down.
and sits down.
He watches that scene and then leaves.
Yeah,
I
was
like,
he in his
this is-
underwear? He's usually in his underwear.
But didn't say a word.
I was like, this is the most awkward situation.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. That
was
wasn't. It
dressed?
wasn't late enough for that yet.
Okay.
I have stayed the night and woken
No,
up and
that's-
have been in there in his underwear.
No,
That,
no.
that's where he went afterward. He went and got in his underwear.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, like me and my dad went to the lake and we started
I sit
watching
around
Game of
and-
Thrones.
Oh, yeah?
In the first episode, you see
Oh.
Jamie and his sister up in the tower.
Yep.
And my dad's like, we're both laying on separate couches. My dad goes, "Here we go."
Well, I was gonna say,
I'm like,
I think it's more awkward.
Not
if-
awkward at all.
if
it's just two
somebody
dudes.
doesn't say
Yeah.
anything, because it's like it's one of those things where you got to break the
You
silence.
just look at him and say,
Otherwise,
should you fap or I?
Oh my god!
hell no.
This show is definitely for adults tonight.
No, it is.
Yeah,
this
it
is
is.
a violent night.
Every show of ours on YouTube, I will admit, is definitely.
Wow.
I don't put it for kids. They're all.
Yeah.
They're, first of all,
But
everything we
sometimes
upload.
they're pretty clean. Tonight's there's a lot of.
Well, we
lot
got
of-
beer
lot
and
of
we
nasty
got
stuff.
Yeah, it's violent night. Come on.
I haven't
I mean-
heard that word in months.
What?
That's
What?
the word he just used. Fap.
Fap?
Yeah.
The fappening.
I know, but
I remember that.
Do people
Well, I was-
watching this know what that means?
I would hope so.
I think everybody
It's
does.
pretty, yeah.
We live in
slang.
Louisville. Everybody looked up Jennifer Lawrence.
I just didn't.
don't deny it.
I didn't want to be
Everybody did.
cruder. I guess I could. I already said suck
I don't
head.
even like it.
yeah. Now let's just stick with Fap.
Alrighty, all right. Time to move on to headlines. Let's roll that open.
Please.
We're not ready for episode 400.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
Are we not?
I mean, it's like we're supposed to kind of calm it down, but now we got to talk about James Cameron.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
It's about to
That's
get
who
real
we're talking
adult
about
up in
for our
here.
400th.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, everybody's been giving him press for that movie to try to make it successful. So I thought, why not? Let's join in.
Well, I mean, he says if it doesn't make the third or fourth highest grossing film of all time, then, we may not get the others.
Well,
But
I
at
need
the
a-
same time, he's claiming it's like reliving.
I need a breaking
the
news.
film of a generation. or
Breaking
whatever.
news.
Uh-oh,
As
what
our
happened?
lower says,
Uh-oh.
Cameron's head is now bigger than his body. I
that's
just
true.
wanted to get that out there. It is a point of proof. It is a
true.
verifiable fact. Cameron's head is bigger than his body. Just wanted to put that out there. Alrighty, let's continue. Let's talk about James Cameron and Avatar.
I just think that he's a complete genius, and no other director could ever do what he does.
He's my dad.
I mean,
No other director could direct an Avatar film.
according to James Cameron himself, he said that he doesn't care how smart you are as a director.
What a pompous
You cannot
prick.
do what
Yeah, I
he
know.
does. I can't imagine. Like, I'm
crazy.
just like, you're sitting here just trying to say that people like Martin Scorsese.
I was getting ready to throw his name out. I was like, even he
Nolan?
wouldn't say that.
No.
Even
Well,
Scorsese
what I
wouldn't say
think
that.
is so funny is back when the first one came out, he said he saw Gollum in Lord of the Rings and
Yeah,
knew
and
that
that's what-
Avatar could be made. He moved to Wellington, New Zealand. Weta is working on this film. The dude wants to be Peter Jackson. He quotes in this article from the Hollywood Reporter, which is clearly a puff piece to try to drum up support for going to see this film.
Yeah.
It's so funny that he even compares what he wants Avatar to be. He said he's specific, but he still has to be a pompous prick to the point of nudging it to be like, I'm appreciative, but also while this I want to be like Lord of the Rings, those were written, books that were written. This I had to write for the
to make
screen.
it all
I had
up.
to make it all up.
Yeah.
So I just
So
can't.
he's actually better
than Tolkien.
You're right.
Even though he had to wait for the technology to make his movie, he didn't invent it himself like Peter Jackson did. He's kind of suggesting he's better than Peter Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Because
In a
Peter
way.
Jackson adapted something that was already written.
He literally went to the same studio and works in the same office that used to be Peter Jackson's. The dude is obsessed with being somebody that is better than him, that has surpassed him in every way thematically. I'm just saying, James, you're no Peter Jackson.
No, he's not. Well,
I hate to burst your bubble.
You had mentioned before the show that he talked about how like everybody says, "Oh, you don't even remember who Jake Sully is," and he's like, "Well, nobody like Luke Skywalker. That's because
Sully?
there's been 3 movies," and it's like, yeah,
You say his last name, and I immediately think of Sully from Monsters,
I do.
Inc.
Well, actually,
I think of the
I think of-
airplane movie.
Well, I think of Uncharted. Sully.
Oh,
yeah.
Sully. Yeah,
That's what I think
way
of.
better
Yeah.
Sully.
Every time I hear Jake Sully, I think of Sully from Uncharted, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Way more
You didn't make
well-written.
someone iconic, and it's not because you only had one movie. Luke Skywalker became iconic after A New Hope. They didn't have to wait for Empire to Strikes Back for him to be iconic.
And I'm sorry, but how many years in between the original Star Wars trilogy that is considered a masterpiece? Look at Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, he acts like
Again,
there's this whole world that
iconic
needed to be
after
created.
one movie. Sequels were made because they were iconic. They didn't become iconic because
but
there were sequels made.
He specifically downplays in this article how he didn't. The studio, of course, wanted to rush, into the sequel because of the success of the first one, and he had to pump the brakes because he wasn't ready. Yeah. He had other things on his mind, like ocean exploring and
Well, he found Jesus.
sustainability.
Once. Do you remember that when James Cameron said that he found Jesus'
Are
body?
you serious?
Oh yes.
No,
look
he
it up.
didn't.
Yep. I was working at Geek Squad, and it was on the news when I was working at Geek Squad. He had a crew of archaeologists, and they thought they had found the body of Jesus, and then it turned out to be just some other guy named Jesus.
Oh my god!
Seriously, or Josefa, or
what does it even matter?
Whatever-
he was
whatever.
wrong.
Yeah,
He's all
2007.
hype.
Yeah.
Filmmaker Cameron claims to find tomb of Jesus.
right.
And this is NPR, so
JC.
you know it's reliable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I was watching it on the news at Geek Squad. I was just like,
Wow.
Well,
this is
just
insane.
I mean, look, the dude is. He clearly. It's funny too because we'll get to the testosterone quote here in a sec, which is.
Can
I
I
don't
read?
care.
I can't help it.
Go
Can I
ahead.
read this about
Go-
Jesus?
go ahead.
It said, Cameron said he had never doubted the historical reality of Jesus, but the simple fact is there has never been a shred of physical, archaeological evidence to support that fact until right now. He was all
We
in.
found him.
Yeah.
He was all in.
Ended
2,000
ended
years
up being
later.
a false.
Oh,
yeah.
We found him.
That is great.
Yep.
I hate James Cameron.
Yeah.
He is. He's. Oh gosh.
Oh.
Well, and that's what I think is so funny. So the one quote in this whole article that I want to read that I take away, just because it clearly shows, just again how pompous he is. He hasn't changed, even though most of the article is a fluff piece, and he's just sitting there trying to explain how he's now taking things in a more emotional way because he had a come to Jesus moment, no pun intended, with his children and the fact that they have told him that, oh yeah, you go off and work all the time, and he's like, I'm just a master of rules and I run my life by rules, and so I come home from these long
I saw
shoots,
that
and-
article.
and
It
I
was a
and
bunch
I
of BS.
and he's sitting here saying, well, I come home and I dole out responsibilities and like we're gonna do this by these rules, and they're like, hold on, wait a sec, you go off and shoot all the time and then you come back here and you don't even want to just be like a dad to us, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I just literally the emphasis of that I got was, you're just a jackass poor father.
Yeah, you're a bad dad.
You're not. You don't actually care about
It's
your
funny
first
'cause
priority
he
in life.
He said, I thought about it, and they were right. So then, but I'm just like, so basically, he admits that like he just neglects his family. He was like, they're right. I'm constantly gone filming. Who am I to come back and give them rules?
I was gonna say he didn't hear that part. He heard they're right. I am off making amazing.
So I'm trying to scroll down to where in the article it specifically says. I just think it's funny because I think it underlines not only the state of moral and cultural decline we have in the U.S., but just the epitome of deep thought anymore that is just completely eroded from our culture as a whole, and it underscores everything that's going on today. Whether you're talking about gender ideology, whether you're talking about just this state of, male and female relationships, and ultimately a man who truly has spent his career in having a lot of the work that is done by pressuring studios and being, it's funny that he's had this change of heart all of a sudden towards the end of his life, but so much of it, and look, nobody's going to deny the success that the man has had, and some of the visionary storytelling and thematic elements that he's put on film. Yeah. I'm not going to deny the man that. We've got Aliens, we've got Terminator 2, Titanic. I can't deny the successes or, again, some of the successes he's had in terms of even filmmaking. But I can deny the fact that this man now is wanting to retroactively rewrite how he got those things and how he ascertained them. And, again, it just goes to the very fact that the state of affairs that we are in our culture, that you would dilute it down to this level. But he goes, a lot of things I did earlier I wouldn't do career-wise, and just risks that you take as a wild testosterone poisoned young man, he says, declining to specify further. I always think of testosterone as a toxin that you have to slowly work out of your system. What a babbling freaking
He's
idiot.
talking about fapping.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
This is why Catherine Bigelow and him did not work. She made
She
the
had
Hurt
more
Locker,
testosterone than
and
he
she
actually
had
did.
more
Yeah.
testosterone.
Right.
She was more of a man than James Cameron would ever be.
That's just so hypocritical. Look at all of the heroes in his movies, other than Ripley.
Ripley, he would say
but she's
Sigourney
masculine.
Weaver, and
I'm
even
just saying though, she is a masculine woman in that movie.
he would say that's okay.
All of the Space Marines, Terminator, the T-1000, and Schwarzenegger, they're masculine. They beat the crap out of each other like grown men. I'm just saying, Jack is the hero
Look
of
at Linda
Titanic.
Hamilton.
He didn't
though.
have but
And
he,
Linda Hamilton was also
of course,
manly.
but they would. He's pointing out. Yeah, it's funny because he's saying testosterone is what made him this way, but yet he's infused it in these female characters.
But at the same time, back then he didn't think about. He's only saying that crap because that's what's in the zeitgeist right now.
Right.
He's like, oh, this is what's culturally relevant,
Meanwhile,
politically.
have
So I'm
you
going to harp on it.
seen his wife?
He wants
his
the
wife
woke to go see his movie.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, and we already know that's going to be the case. I mean, China's good. Well, I don't know if they get out of their concentration camps, they may be able to go see it.
They burned some of them down. Did you see that?
Really?
People burned
Good
a
for
bunch of the
them.
cubicles
Good.
or little things. Yeah.
What's funny is if they're all locked away for zero COVID policy, they won't be able to go to the theater to see it.
Yeah.
So it'll probably tank over there specifically because
That'd be
of that.
interesting. I do want to see that.
I
I just want this movie to tank. It's not going to, but I just.
and he brings that up in the article. I mean, he's already set up the possibility for failure.
I think he knows that
he does it
yeah.
both ways though. He like, that's what annoys me is because now he has this like because of the way he double speaks. It's like if it fails, he can be like, "See, I told you, it probably wasn't going to be as successful." And if it doesn't fail, if it's a huge success, I'd be like, "See, I never doubted my movie one bit." And it's like, I hate him.
I know.
Yeah.
Every time he comes out with any kind of quote or an article comes out about him and there's a quote from him, I immediately think of the John Hammond quote from Jurassic Park of the meme, "I really hate that man."
Yeah.
I just it's the flabbergasted or the exhausted, like I just can't take any more of them. And honestly, that's the main reason I am wishing for Avatar to tank. Not because I don't want to see the success of another franchise. It's specifically because this man thinks he's so much of a genius that should be thrust upon the... It's like, for one, you've already staked your claim. Yes, even as the article points out, 2 out of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time that are originals. There's only 2 that are on that list, and they belong to James Cameron. Avatar and Titanic.
Yep.
Fine. You've got your accomplishments. He does have a way of touching base with the cultural zeitgeist to a degree. He's talked about how this film is not necessarily going into detail on climate activism, but now it's about, where the first movie was more dire, this is going to add solutions. And literally, he talks about how obviously they've already shot 2 and 3. 3's pretty much in the bag. He hopes that they can get to the 4th one if this one is a success, and he could even see a 5th and a 6th one. And that's where he talks about by the time they get to that movie, he'll be 89 years old.
Yeah. Jesus will have come back by then, and he'll see that he was real.
Yeah. And hopefully he'll save us from the 3rd movie.
Yeah. Yes. The Bible says he'll let it get so bad, and then he'll step in, because if not for him stepping in, we would destroy ourselves. Yeah. And I think you're right. He will step in before Avatar 3 is made.
Incredible hubris of a man who will talk all this talk about how he's creating this out of thin air. And again, don't patronize me, but patronize me. And it's one of these situations where even at the end when he's just talking about how, there's other things. I'm not trying to create a what does he call it here? It's not a legacy, an empire. I'm not trying to create an empire. I'm trying to just make fun movies. And I'm like, BS. Because if you weren't trying to create something that was culturally relevant or held a legacy with your name attached to it, you wouldn't be making 3, 4, 5, 6 films in the same series. But clearly that is your modus operandi. That's what you want to do. And that is where that's the hill you're willing to die on. Plus, he goes back and forth about how, his relationship with Disney has so far, he's like, maybe it's the honeymoon phase because, they bought out Fox. Yeah. And that's where the original was, the original idea of the first Avatar was kind of fought between Disney and Fox. And Fox outbid Disney, but Disney really wanted it. And so he stayed with this tried and true who was there with them with True Lies and Terminator and Aliens. And so he was like, all right, I'll stick with Fox. They helped me on those other films. I'll stay with them. And of course, it became a huge success. But I think it's funny that right now, it's like, of course you're in the honeymoon phase with Disney. Because if it fails at Disney, you may get a 3rd because, it's already shot. And he admits to this. Yeah. But you're not getting a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th. It's not happening.
Nope.
And I think he's making a lot of bad choices lately. So.
Plus, but now when it comes to flops, they do move on. I'll give them that.
Well, and I think it's also funny because in the article he mentions too that he's like, you won't be able to tell in the first week. He said by the 3rd week. He said Titanic and Avatar. Well, of course he is. But you also have to look at the pivotal moment at which those films came out. Titanic being one of a historical relevance and why people were attracted to it. And again, seeing something that, almost in a weird way mythologically existed, I think, in history, but you hadn't seen on a grand scale in a movie theater. Yeah. But then you take Avatar, which then revolutionized not only film technology and pushed forward with 3D and people wanting to go see it for that experience.
The visual effects is what drove a lot of people
right.
in. Yeah.
And I just don't think you have that kind of luster with this film. I don't think there's any kind of, again, even reading this piece, I'm like, there's nothing in here that tells me, again, based on the merits of the film itself, pumps me up to go see it. Will I see it? Of course, because not only do we have a movie podcast, it will be the biggest movie on the block.
Oh, he fully the week believes it comes people are going to go see it more than once. I mean, in the article he said about the bathroom break,
God, perfect example of pompous.
He gave the people they asked. It's like, well, so when would be a good time during the movie to take a bathroom break? And his official statement was, anytime you want, because you could see the scene you missed when you come see it again. He's like, he said anybody
all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, he knows everybody's going to come back and watch it again.
And that's what I'm saying. Look,
they're going to come back and watch it again because he's going to release it 6 times like he did the other one.
It's like, this one's not the 3rd or 4th highest grossing movie. You can watch it
again in 2029 when it comes out again.
He throws shade at Disney and Marvel for that. He's like, Marvel, they've had like 26 films that built this legacy, and I've only, have one. And I'm like,
they showed their 26 films one time each. They didn't show it. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
If Endgame came out again, Oh my God.
I wish it would.
Especially after all the crap we've seen from Marvel so far, people want to see Endgame again.
No, absolutely.
Please put that back in
Bring it
theaters.
out and let's beat Avatar
Yeah.
before The Way of Water comes out.
Yeah.
They should release Endgame the same
If they
time.
put out Top Gun again, it would beat Avatar.
Oh, it is.
I'm just saying.
They're doing a Christmas release of Top Gun. It's going
Yeah.
back in theaters.
That's still if they do
If
they do a
Avatar-
most popular film of the year, it's going to Top Gun.
See, and
I would
Avatar
agree.
never got a Chinese release like Avatar. Or Top Gun never got a
didn't,
Chinese
yeah.
release like Avatar did.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, and it still is ranked well over $1 billion.
Yep.
Because people don't want the woke.
Nope. Go woke, go broke. We'll see. We will have an official review.
We will see.
2 weeks, right?
2 weeks.
We will.
Comes out on the 16th, and we're going to have it reviewed for the week right after Christmas for our 401st episode.
Oh boy.
That's when we'll have it. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Let's talk about some trailers, guys. Let's just real quick dive into those. We saw a few different trailers coming out. Indy 5 and Guardians of the Galaxy
The
3.
16th would be before Christmas.
Yeah. But
yeah.
we're going to see it. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
It's
well,
our
it should-
400th
it should be. Yeah, that's what I'm
episode.
saying.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
our 400th
sorry.
episode. Yeah.
Oh, well, we just planned that for
It's
James
not
Cameron.
this week. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
James Big Head
Yeah.
Cameron. There you go. You're going to be on our 400th episode to Live in Infamy.
Yeah.
People tune in forever to see the legacy of this show.
And to see which of our unconventional Christmas movies is our favorite.
That's true. So far the unnamed. Next week happens to be Edward Scissorhands. And have we figured out
We were, because the Fablemans is still nowhere around, we were
Yeah.
going to do Pinocchio, I think.
Pinocchio?
Guillermo del Toro's. 'Cause
Guys,
it's streaming on Netflix.
Get the Fablemans
Oh,
in
I haven't
theaters.
seen that.
Come on.
It's out this Friday on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We want to see the Fablemans.
Yeah, there's
But
no
nobody,
screeners of that.
AMC's not bringing it, and it's only like I think at Baxter locally,
I think.
and it has
think.
weird show times. It's like, come on. But yeah,
They
let's
don't
talk
love
about.
the
I mean,
Fablemans.
there were actually quite a few. I mean, we had Cocaine Bear, that trailer dropped.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't
Can't
wa-
wait to see that
I had
one.
to look up the real story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a
You
true
didn't know it was
story.
based on a true
Yeah,
story?
yeah. Elizabeth
No,
Banks.
and it's. I think it took place in Kentucky and Tennessee.
I think the bear is now it's
It's
now-
in a museum in
It's
Lexington.
stuffed on in a museum in Lexington, but I
Yeah.
think that's the only relation that it has to
No,
Kentucky.
Amelia looked up the
No, it was
story.
in
It was in
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
The
There was-
Cocaine Bear was here.
Yeah. They dropped.
Hell yeah!
Like some, it was like drug smugglers or whatever. Like he dropped like the cocaine in the middle of the woods or whatever,
Yeah.
and the bear got into it. I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy like the movie's going to depict, where he went on this killing spree. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, the bear did get into the cocaine, and like they had to put
crazy.
it down or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
I wonder if he had like a heart attack.
probably.
I wonder if like they're just lying and they said they had to put it down, but it had like a heart
Heart
attack
attack
and
from all that
died.
cocaine.
I thought I don't know. Amelia was reading it to me while I was driving, and people died. Like I mean, it
Oh,
did
wow.
kill people.
Oh, it did.
I don't think it was like it wasn't like Jaws. Like this.
I think it was like
Like
two,
that.
like maybe two.
But somebody
people or
died. Yeah, the
something?
bear
Yeah.
did attack people.
I don't know.
Wow, I didn't know that. I can't wait to go see it. It's gonna be a fun movie.
What about Indy 5?
Let's talk about it.
Who's up for that?
The
Yeah, let's talk
trailer
about
looks
it.
fine, but I don't trust it. So, it is funny though, because James Mangold came out and said that all the rumors about her being the next Indy and putting his hat on in the end are false. He said they don't set her up to be the next Indy. She never wears his hat, and that people are panicking for no reason. So we'll see.
I love.
See,
I
I read
love-
the exact opposite.
I know, that's
I
what he
read
said,
that
James.
that he's passing it to his goddaughter.
Yes, that's what the rumors are. James Mangold, the director, he did Logan. He's saying that those rumors are false.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
He's saying that those are just rumors. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't believe him.
I don't know.
Here's the.
I mean, it's a bold outlier if she
Yeah,
puts that hat
yeah,
on
if
at the
he
Well,
said
end.
that.
No,
Yeah.
because you could always look into the tweet or the message that they send out, and there's always little glaring like, oh,
Yeah.
there's this little thing, this little slight little word that they put in there that just changes the meaning of.
Oh yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
no,
or-
that's
He's like,
different. I'm just saying. He's saying basically it's not going to be blatant. Is
Right.
basically what he's saying.
So she
Yeah.
made okay. Well, what happens if she picks up the hat but doesn't put it on?
Well, then that's the repeat of Crystal Skull, which
Right.
is stupid
No,
anyway.
I'm
It's
just
not
saying.
a passing of the torch film.
Yeah, I think it's just completely stupid. Yeah. No, I again, I don't trust. I thought the trailer
Here's the
looked
thing:
fine.
it looked fine, but we know Harrison
Yeah.
Ford's not coming back. I think it's absolutely
no, this
ridiculous
is his last
that they
one.
wouldn't tease there being a continuation of Indy, or if this is a sunset. They're not going to kill the franchise.
We know
Oh, no.
how big
No.
franchises are these days. They're not going to outright put it to sleep, or they can try. It'll just be resurrected in a different way.
Yeah, but how do you
Her.
call somebody else Indiana Jones?
She won't be Indiana Jones. It'll continue on with whatever. I don't know. It's gonna be terrible.
Margaret
regardless.
Jones.
Whatever her character's name
the
is.
kingdom.
Or
of
she
the-
she could just be Indy in terms
I don't
of
like the title, The Dial of Destiny. I
Yeah.
don't like
was
that
bad
either.
too.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't know.
If it was like the Spear of Destiny, like
Yeah,
the
that
one
makes
that
sense.
supposedly
Yes,
stabbed
yeah.
Christ, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because most of the originals, I mean, all of the well, no,
Not the second,
Kingdom.
but-
Yeah, Temple of Doom was not, but a lot of them have Christian you know,
Iconography
yes,
and,
yeah.
and
Well, yeah, they definitely aren't going to do that today.
relics and
Then they went with aliens in the last one. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
George Lucas, man.
stupid.
he tried he fought like hell to get it, and he got it, and we saw what that was.
It's one of those things where, like, well, Disney always throws out trailers that I think look fine. I don't think I didn't think it looked bad, but again, it's just I don't really.
Well,
trust
again,
that it's
that's
gonna be
always
quality.
been Disney's forte is they can market the hell out
yeah.
of things. I mean, James Cameron mentioned that in his article about Avatars. He was like, the one thing I loved about Disney buying Fox was that I knew I was going to get a marketing behemoth.
Yeah,
And it's like, yeah, they're great at marketing stuff. It's just
Is
when
the quality
can they actually
there?
provide? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about Guardians 3? What about that trailer?
I think it looks good.
I liked it, but again, we don't know. I do like knowing the comics and all the things that were in there. That's also another problem with Marvel is they throw plenty of Easter eggs to make you think, oh, these are really good, amazing storylines. This could make amazing movie. And then when you see the movie, none of those storylines are actually covered in the movie.
Yeah.
So
or they're briefly explained and tossed
they're
out.
just Easter because Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. There was so much in that I thought, oh, this is really going to dive deep into some of the mythos, and it doesn't touch any of the mythos.
What's
So
really been
that's what I'm
killing
worried
me
about
is
with
they
this,
asked Kevin Feige about this, and he said, "Oh, I don't think we've reached as no, I'm sorry. This was in relation to because another trailer that dropped recently was the Quantum Realm.
Ant-Man.
That one's been out for a while.
And
but, yeah.
what was that one called again?
Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Yeah.
And it's funny because hearing Kevin Feige talk about that one, and he's like, this is really the pinnacle of the MCU. And I'm like, you say this in every
Every one
film
of
that
them.
comes out.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the BSing, and I'm tired of the hyping when there is no payoff. And that's my problem with Guardians. Now, the only shred of hope that I have is because James Gunn is attached to it. And it is, he even came out and tweeted with the trailer, hope you enjoy the finale to the Guardians trilogy.
Yeah.
And I like that
He's
because
setting
it
it up.
is...
Whether there's future Guardians movies, it's not going to be with the same team.
No.
So
And there's even, obviously we've heard, I think, and it's been confirmed from people like Batista. I forget the girl who plays, I'm forgetting her name.
Nebula.
Nebula. Not Nebula.
Mantis?
Maybe. Mantis.
Oh,
Mantis. That they're not returning, that they're done. after
Yeah, a
this.
lot of the actors said that I know Dave Bautista isn't. I'm pretty sure Bradley Cooper isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole Guardians crew.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, here's the thing. Even if they don't go out with a bang, I mean, we know they're not coming back, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean
Most of them. I have a feeling maybe a few of them might pop up, I guess, in Secret Wars, but not. Yeah, we'll see.
not play a major role?
I mean, whichever ones are willing to come back, like Chris Pratt, I could see coming back for like the last
Star-Lord.
Avengers or whatever. But
And you think it's just because of his name?
well, just because I think he'd be willing to.
I don't think he's necessarily done.
Yeah.
Batista said he's
Dave-
getting old. He said, my body can't take it
Dave
anymore.
Bautista just doesn't want to
Yeah.
anymore. Like most of the actors don't want to that are leaving don't want to anymore. But I think Chris Pratt's fine still doing it, so I think he would return if they asked
When was
him.
the first Guardians released? How long has it been?
It's been a while.
I think
now,
has
yeah.
it been like because they've obviously done the Avengers movies in between. I think the major releases, but this is definitely the furthest it's been. They had
Oh,
the
yeah.
one appearance in Thor: Love and Thunder, but that
Yeah.
was short lived. That wasn't a huge.
The first
role.
one was in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we're getting close
been
to the
almost a
10-year
decade,
mark.
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I hope, my only problem with James Gunn is, again, I know his focus. I don't think he didn't care or have the passion for this film. He just doesn't strike me as that kind of person, especially after he was brought back in to the Marvel tent when Disney tried to ouster him because
Yeah.
of past tweets. And I think that he very much loves this community. He loves comics in general.
Yeah.
And obviously the most recent, job title of being the chief.
Yeah.
One of the chief creatives over at DC. I don't think, obviously, that was done well after this was already, I think, completed. And I know he has a lot of love for the franchise. After seeing the Suicide Squad and it not living up to my expectations of what I think could have been pulled off with Gunn at the helm, and again, who knows, maybe that was because he really wasn't, in charge of DC yet. And we know that Kevin Feige's a lot more, loose with how Marvel, there's certain thematic plot points that have to be introduced or told, but he's very loose with giving the creator or the director, plenty of leeway as to making their vision. And so I am, at least because of, and again, though, I'll be the first to admit, I love the first one. It's a classic. It's great. Great addition to the Marvel, to the MCU. The second one was not as good as the first.
No.
Definitely was a step down, but it wasn't terrible.
No, yeah.
And
it was fine. I liked the second, but yeah, it was more of the same, little lesser.
I think the third one's going to be a good goodbye to the.
I'm hoping, yeah.
I think it will be, and I mean, when you look at Suicide Squad, I even think of the fact it's not a great excuse, but James Gunn was trying to come after the first one that was made by David Ayer. But didn't he do the first one?
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And it's like, but he continued some of those characters' stories, and I felt like you're kind of like having to deal with what you had left over.
Right.
So I think Guardians was his to begin with, and I don't. The
True.
only thing that
That's
worries
true.
me is, like you say, James Gunn. Oh yeah, he's somebody we can trust. I trusted Taika Waititi after Ragnarok. And then look what Thor: Love and Thunder was.
Well, it wasn't just Ragnarok. Even though it wasn't a Marvel movie, like seeing Ragnarok and seeing Jojo Rabbit, I was like, oh, Taika Waititi's got this in the bag.
Yes.
And then he just, I don't know, like to watch Jojo Rabbit and to watch Love and Thunder, like I can't, like even.
It's not even the same person made those movies.
It boggles my mind that like that was from the same director.
Yeah.
Well, I think you get an artist that, again, is so full of themselves in terms of putting it on screen.
Yeah.
And going with every zany idea they have that they think it's gold. And I think that's what happens when you give maybe some creatives a little bit too much creative freedom.
Yeah.
And that's easily what can happen. So let's hope that doesn't happen with Guardians. By far, out of the two major ones, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Guardians.
Yeah, as I say, Guardians, because I still have more trust in
no
James Gunn
hope
than,
with Indiana Jones.
I just don't trust Lucasfilm.
I think it'll be better than Crystal Skull, because any movie is better than that. But I don't think it's going to be a good send off for Indiana
I think
Jones
it'll fit. It'll hit a lot of the indie notes that people are looking for. My concern isn't whether like James Mangold can do that. It's about more of the woke ideology that'll end up in the movie or not.
Yep.
So
Yep. Alrighty, guys. I think we're ready to move on to our unique weekly segment. Let's roll that open.
Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love.
Oh, it just sounded like an old man dying.
How's that? I don't know what the.
share the load. Because we're gonna share now. We're gonna share.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I like the way you put the spin on that. This is a little. Should have had that at the beginning of the show. Even with all the beer spewing everywhere. No, this is a little different. Put a little twist on it because we all know most of the time you talk about the holidays, you're spending it with family.
Yeah.
But I was wanting to know what holidays that come up every year are best spent with friends. Let's talk about it.
Any that you want to spend with them, because friends can be family.
Don't cop out. Don't.
That's
don't
not a cop out.
So they
JC it
they
up.
can't be family, is what you're saying.
I mean, I'm not going to rule that out because if family are friends,
I don't spend holidays with friends.
I don't
no,
either.
Cannot be family. Cannot be family.
Oh my god.
Well,
Well,
then none of
I'm
them.
out because
Every holiday
with family. Yeah.
I mean,
It's like, hey guys,
Okay.
let's get together for Easter.
but here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. Not necessarily the holiday itself, but around the holiday.
All of
like
them.
Really? Same?
I mean, if it's not on the exact holiday,
Because I got one for you and me that I know we
go
partake
to the
in.
Burrises for
Right.
4th of July.
Yeah.
And I think that is a holiday that you could definitely
Sometimes
do things
it
with friends.
falls on 4th
but
of
I mean,
July.
I do usually, I didn't this year, but a lot of years I've done Friendsgivings with friends.
Thanksgiving was, that was going to be one. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big one. I mean,
Yeah. I've spent 4th of July with people other than my family, but usually family are there too.
But I think like holidays like that, like 4th of July, where you could celebrate before
The 4th of July.
did I say fourth?
The birth of a nation,
July.
Hey, I like that birth.
Stutter. Birth of July, yeah.
Yep.
Because we birthed it. July didn't exist until America. But yeah, Thanksgiving. I mean, I've done little Christmas get-togethers with friends in the past too. Though, like you get together and exchange a few gifts.
Yeah.
It's
We
harder
exchange
for Christmas.
gifts sometimes.
I
Christmas
find
is
as I'm
harder.
getting older, Christmas is the one that it's like I almost reserve strictly for family because there's just so much going
Yeah,
on
and that's
around the
understandable.
holidays.
Definitely.
Plus, just trying to manage work and whatnot with it, it's just like it's much easier and also just much more hassle free to just say no. I'm going to stick with my family on this.
I think
holiday.
Halloween's a good one because people throw Halloween parties, and
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
strictly family. I mean, I go to
Agreed.
my nephew's Halloween party every year, but that's, like I said, it's not just because he's family and
Right.
it's not family exclusive. I mean,
Same, like it wouldn't be. It's funny too because I guess I have such a tight knit family, and it's not like they're,
sometimes your family is friends, and sometimes your friends are family.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
I didn't talk about you. I'm talking about Sean.
He's touching me.
He can't touch me because I'm across the table.
It's because I don't love you.
Shut up, footsie. I'm playing footsie with him on the table. That was good, but no, I mean. I would say not only Halloween. That's like a holiday where if I'm spending it with like I've gone down to E-Town. I think the last couple years.
I'm with family.
Well, no. But even then, it would be one thing where if I went trick or treating with my like nieces and nephews, it'll probably change when I actually have a wife and kids. I would specifically spend it with them. But
I hope it's like, sorry, honey, you're gonna take the kids trick or treating.
I don't want to deal with that. I gotta
I'm
go
going
get
with-
my milk duds
I was
over
just
somewhere
saying,
else.
you know, you would go trick or treating with your nieces and nephews while your kids are like.
That
you're
would
just
be
like,
terrible.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
It's like I don't want to bring them along.
So y'all don't deserve candy.
What do you guys do for Juneteenth?
I spend
celebrate
that with friends?
I spend that with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I spent a whole month with friends in June.
I look at my paycheck and I think, yeah, I got paid for a day off. That's what I look at.
Oh, we don't get that.
Really?
No, we don't get Juneteenth
You don't
off.
get. It's a federal holiday.
It doesn't matter.
How do you
We
not
don't
get
it.
Juneteenth?
Because people still go to the doctor on Juneteenth.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
doctor offices aren't closed.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Man, y'all get Martin Luther King Day, don't
No.
you?
No, we don't.
they're not closed on those days.
Oh,
Just major
wow.
holiday. Yeah,
Labor Day
Major
and
holidays.
Memorial Day?
Now those
Yes,
we do
we
get because
do.
doctors' offices are closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird because Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a federal holiday.
We technically don't get the 4th off
Nope.
because doctors' offices aren't closed on
right.
the 4th.
Wow. You don't even get paid like double time or nothing
No.
working a
No.
holiday?
No.
No.
Man, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we get other perks that are worth it, but yeah,
we
those
get Black
just-
Friday off.
We do too.
That's Juneteenth. No, we don't get that off.
We get Black Friday off though.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. No, we don't get any of those
But that's
holidays
only
off.
because doctors' offices aren't open.
I guess that makes sense.
Well, nobody wants to be off Thanksgiving and then go back to work Friday and then be off again.
Well, but it used to be that way.
I think it
It-
sucks.
yeah.
Like I want to be off so that
well,
I can think
what,
about what
what
my
we
ancestors
used to
did.
have is
Like I want to be off for Juneteenth. Like that pisses me off. That
well, maybe you should write a letter to the CEO.
no, that would be white privilege if you had that day off.
Yeah, you don't deserve. Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't deserve
we
that.
have to stay and work. Yeah.
jerk.
Yeah. Why do you think you deserve that day off? That's not your day.
I
of
would be more.
celebration.
I'm being honest. I would be more okay with that being considered a federal holiday if that was the
is
fact.
a federal holiday.
No, I'm saying if I had to work and African Americans got off work, but white people had to stay and work, I would be more okay with that than just nobody being off. Like, don't make it a federal holiday if you're not going to give anybody off work.
But it depends on the business. I get it off.
No,
Like,
I'm talking
observe
about
all
the business
federal
I work
holidays.
for. I'm talking about the business
Oh, I
I
gotcha.
work for.
Okay,
Yeah,
specifically
but they don't have
them.
Yeah.
control of whether it's considered
Yeah.
a federal holiday or not. The government did that.
Right, but if you're not going to honor it, then That's crappy.
Then why call it a holiday?
Right.
I mean, that's the weird thing is because
Why even
depending
put
on
it on
what,
our calendar if you're not going to honor
there's
it?
some places that get birthdays off, or they at least give you a day
People
for your
used to
birthday.
give President's Day off. You didn't have to go to school.
Yeah.
We do get President's Day off.
See?
Gosh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to go work for the news. Gosh.
We have their look. They have
What about
days
Boxing
of
Day?
observance.
You just observe every holiday on
Actually,
the
that
calendar?
was a
Yes,
line
because
from
at that point,
Valen-
And I mean, if you think about it, the further we get down this terrible road we're on, there's going to
every
be
day's
more
gonna be a
holidays.
holiday,
yeah,
yeah.
there's going to be more.
Well, we already
freaking
know
holidays that
Trudeau.
come our way.
Trudeau, yeah, Trudeau's trying to invade. We already know
so
that.
you need Arbor Day off. Can't have Columbus Day off though. That one's bad.
No.
That one's bad.
no,
he's
no,
bad.
No,
No
that's
Columbus Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Colonization
Oh,
Day.
okay. Indigenous People
That's
Day we
right.
can have off now again.
That's
Good
right.
job. Good job. You saved it.
That's right. we know Trudeau would lose if he tried to come down here and put upon us Boxing Day because they don't have guns in Canada.
I would celebrate Boxing Day
I wouldn't.
if they gave me a day off.
Yeah. I'll celebrate whatever if I
Well,
get a day
okay,
off.
that was the thing.
I'll wear rainbows all month if they give me time off.
The month of June off.
Yes,
It's like
that's
you
right.
get LGBT month. You just
right.
get the whole month of June, Pride Month off. Yeah. No, I think
They
it's
should
funny.
give all 8 days of Hanukkah off.
There you go.
That's only fair.
Yep.
True.
I mean, here's
Our
the thing.
government is anti-Semitic.
Most people do if
They
you
just let 'em
observe
off.
it. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
observe
No, if
it
you
and
observe
you
it,
go
they-
to your boss and tell them you observe it, I think religious holidays are the one exemption where they will give you the day for like religious observance.
Mine will say if you want to put in PTO 2 weeks ahead of time,
Yeah.
you can have that day off.
But necessarily, don't
I
they do
want-
that? Here's where they can't be discriminatory, though. They would have to do that for every holiday, and they do. Like Christmas, if it's if it falls on like a Monday, you'd have to take PTO to get Christmas off, wouldn't you?
No, we have it off.
We
It's
have it
just
off,
whether
but we have
wanna
to
get-
use our PTO to get paid for
Yeah.
it.
Right. Okay. So
It's
there you go.
unpaid time
Exactly.
off.
We don't have
okay.
paid holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Then that's a blanket across the board. But you have enough PTO that you could take off all those holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So then
definitely.
that's not a problem.
I didn't say it was.
I know.
just wanna be
but the
off
other stuff you
without
have
me
to
having to
actually,
use
you would
my
have
PTO.
To, you'd
So
have to
really,
request.
it is white privilege that
Yeah,
you
'cause we
won't
can't
take
just-
PTO for Juneteenth.
No, because see, he can't just take the day off. Like he would have to take PTO. Like
Right.
No,
And
but
they
you
don't
have to do that
approve
for
it.
every holiday.
Yeah, they don't have to approve it. I can tell them I want to be off
for Juneteenth.
Juneteenth,
And they may
might
say no.
no.
See, I think they should have to if it's a federal holiday.
See, the other
But then-
holidays,
but then if
we just
enough
get the day
people
off.
ask
We don't have
off-
to take PTO.
No,
we can just
I usually
choose
don't.
not to get paid.
I don't burn into my PTO. I just it's one
I
day, one day
gotcha.
We can
without
choose
pay.
not
I
to be
can-
paid.
Yeah, I do.
That's a difference.
But if
Yeah.
he wants to take Juneteenth off, like he don't have the
Yeah,
option to
I
just
gotta
take it
use
off without
PTO.
getting paid.
See,
He
I,
has to use PTO.
I think Black Friday only became a paid holiday
Yeah.
simply because enough people were taking it off the day after.
Oh, yeah,
that they
yeah.
were just like, okay, we'll declare it a paid holiday because most people don't. Like you said, no, who wants to go eat Thanksgiving dinner, be fat and happy, and falling asleep on the couch, pumpkin pie on their
Go
belly?
to work Friday and then
Go
have
to
to
work
be off
Friday.
again
It's not
Saturday.
happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
But no,
Silly government.
come on. Well, that's not a federal holiday.
Black Friday's not,
No,
but,
but
you
that
know.
depends on the company.
That's
Like
I don't know how we got on
where
this.
I used to
not
work.
the- this is not the
This I don't know how this turned into
this
this
is not the
discussion.
topic we were going with, but that's okay. It's
not.
good. I like it.
I
would celebrate
I spend
Black Friday with my
holidays- I
friends.
spend holidays with family. I don't spend
Yeah.
it with very many friends.
I mean, no.
There
but
might
what?
be a party.
But is there a
afterwards or
specific
something
holiday that you spend again? Not
But you
on
celebrate.
the holiday.
It doesn't have to be on the holiday, but
but around that
Yeah.
time that you spend with
It's
friends.
Halloween, 4th of July, Thanksgiving.
Those
are
think
the-
I would say those are the
that,
three.
Yeah, I normally may spend with other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would put those in the same camp. July 4th
Good
is probably
job.
the big one because it's easiest to get around. Like if somebody's got a pool.
St. Patrick's
Yeah,
Day.
friends
if you
get
like-
together with the fireworks. and all
Exactly.
that kind of stuff.
Like
Have a
St.
display.
Patrick's Day,
Or
if you like to
Chinese
go out
fireworks.
drinking. I mean, I don't go to bars or nothing, but I do know people that get together with friends and go out and drink on
Well,
St.
here in
Patrick's Day.
Louisville, we have a big St. Patty's Day parade.
Yeah, we do.
and it's basically a way to go watch a
but
parade
that would be
and get
one
drunk.
that I could see,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I
Valentine's
agree.
Day if you really love your friends.
He touched me again.
That one was sincere.
That was
Very
sincere.
sentimental and sensual.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw.
Yep.
Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Had a great show this week. It was fantastic.
I enjoyed
Awesome. You know how you could tell us that you enjoyed it? By emailing us. Right there at the bottom of your screen. RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com. Anybody else want to say it?
What Keith does.
He does.
Not anymore.
You have the better voice.
RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com.
Beautiful. Sean,
Gosh.
can you even follow that up?
You can. You can.
No, I can't.
But what about our social? Do y'all remember any of our social?
We're on Parler, Truth, Twitter,
Yeah.
Facebook,
The right stuff.
Rumble. Rumble is that new one.
Rumble.
We're
Rumble's
on
on
Twitch. We're on all of that.
We're
stuff.
all
Rumble. Let's
If
get
it's
ready to
social,
rumble.
we're on it.
We're trying. We're trying
Our
to get on
media
all the
is on it.
socials. We need
Right.
to do a better job.
YouTube, of course. I mean, you're watching this right now on YouTube or
Yep.
Facebook.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
yes.
Those are the main
Hit us
platforms.
up.
It's live on
Hit
Twitter.
us up
it's
in our
on-
DMs.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that Kirstie Alley died.
Oh my
That
God.
makes me
Oh
sad.
my god!
I just thought about that.
I was trying to forget, and you just
If
reminded
we
me.
weren't
I was very
sucking
sad.
head at the beginning of the episode, we would have mentioned Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie.
Kirstie, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I just
Not even Kirstie. You just ruined her name.
Oh my gosh.
She has had an outpouring
Banish
of
me.
coworkers that have,
Apparently, she had colon cancer.
yeah. And it
Out
was
of
just
nowhere.
it was apparently it was very recently diagnosed,
Yeah.
and I guess like it wasn't public
See,
because
she's
nobody
a
knew.
Scientologist. They're not even supposed to be able to get cancer.
Yeah, well,
I don't understand it.
She should have healed it with her mind.
But she was a good actress.
she was.
And she was a conservative woman too.
Yeah. See, and a
Very
lot
outspoken.
of jerks on Twitter were just like
I know.
tweeting the worst stuff about.
I know.
This is what's so putrid
I
about
know.
our
Yeah.
culture now.
Someone
Like
dies
you can't
and
even
it's-
die
yeah.
without getting
No,
made fun of.
Even if you, and the thing was, is somebody pointed out, it was like she wasn't even like this huge conservative
She
right winger
wasn't
that got
far
out there.
right,
And,
yeah.
no, that even got out on the and beat that drum. Typically,
No.
she was just had certain conservative views, and that was it, and they were known. It's ridiculous.
That's all it takes, Brandon.
I know. In this day and age, you're ridiculed. I will say, somebody at work did bring this up, and I think this is a very important note to end on. I'm sorry we had to save the Kirstie Alley news till the end of the show, but stay away from John Travolta. The man is deadly. The man has killed now 3 of his co-stars: Kirstie Alley,
And his wife.
Olivia Newton-John. Wow. And I think it was that his wife? Was she an actress?
His wife was an actress too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm forgetting his. Who was? Oh gosh, forget. He said her name too.
She's
He had all
beautiful.
3.
Oh, she was beautiful.
But it's just absolutely. It's
So
like,
tragic.
wow. I mean, I think John Travolta. There something's going on there. I think he needs to be investigated.
His son died too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jet Travolta. I
Oh
would
my
say, yeah.
gosh!
But his wife was a famous actress.
This is insane.
Mm.
Something needs to be looked into here.
Mills Lane also died, and that made me sad. I know most people don't know. He was a boxing ref, but
Yeah.
The
And then
voice of Elmo.
Yeah.
Voice of Elmo passed away. The original
Kevin
voice.
Clash?
Yeah.
We just
we
said
shared it. Yeah.
I didn't remember seeing that.
Yeah.
What?
He'd been on Sesame
Yes.
Street for like 50 years
Oh,
or
no,
something.
not Kevin Clash. Okay, Kevin Clash took over for yes, him.
Wait, you got to say the name now because I'm trying to find.
Yeah,
Who was it?
Crap. I feel bad now because I completely blanked on him, and I feel like a jerk because
This is what we do when we have huge threat. Oh, there it is. Bob McGrath. Sesame
McGrath,
Street
yeah.
original cast member, dead at 80.
Yeah,
Or
Kelly,
90.
Kelly Preston was John Travolta's wife.
There you go.
who died.
I'm just saying, something we need to investigate this man
Oh my
Something
gosh!
strange
Here's like
there.
a picture of him,
and her.
Kelly
Show
Preston,
it up.
and
Show her.
Kirstie Alley.
Oh my gosh!
In the
The
same
dude
picture.
had
Killed
it
them both.
made.
He killed them both.
He killed them both.
Scientology,
they're-
dude.
I'm telling you.
all 3 of them.
Something's got to be looked into. This is Illuminati stuff right
Tom
here.
Cruise probably did it,
Honestly, after he made Wild Hogs,
and he did it himself. He didn't use a
a
stunt
full
double.
blown FBI investigation should have been opened up. Should have been opened up. The government, the feds should have been looking into John Travolta after that movie.
Yep.
Says he lost 2 partners to cancer. What?
Still over here.
Whoa!
Wait, John
Who
Travolta?
else?
Former girlfriend Diana Hyland.
I don't know that one.
I don't know her either, but still, it's someone connected to John Travolta that died.
They got
cancer.
Yeah. And Kirstie Alley.
Yeah,
Holy crap!
they got cancer
This is
from
insane,
all the
from
women
that-
in his life are getting cancer.
Guys,
it's all from
all
those
right.
hair extensions he got.
This
I'm gonna-
is the
I'm gonna-
best conspiracy theory I fully
Rogaine.
believe.
I'm going to
believe it.
rerun the open, and we're just going to do a whole nother show on Kirstie Alley.
Start over.
John
we got to
Travolta.
start all
No,
over.
John Travolta.
John Travolta is the
This
center of it
is-
all.
Yes.
We're gonna,
Something is wrong here.
stay tuned for next week. We will have our conspiracy theories worked out.
Yeah.
It'll be all about John Travolta, and his death and destruction that he is bringing in the mayhem of Hollywood. He's bringing them down, people.
Yeah.
But he's bringing some good ones.
I
with
mean,
him.
if only he could be married to Nancy Pelosi for a
I know,
day or
I
something.
know. Can you just go to Congress for one day?
That's right.
And just chill and hang out in the chamber? Maybe put on like a huge horn helmet, still the podium, cause an insurrection. Alrighty, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in for this episode of the Red Moon Podcast. We want to thank you all so much.
Yes.
Every single week for the love that you all give us for just supporting us, helping us out.
Yes.
Like, share, subscribe. You saw all of our social media links, Red Moon Book, Red Moon Tweet, Red Moon Pics, and of course just search for Red Moon Productions on YouTube. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Vanilla Steam.
there it is, and
Are you not entertained?
beautiful, beautiful.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.